Hello, everybody. This is Ron Dittmars talking to you from the Erasmus Academy recording studios in Brooklyn, New York. And we are focusing today on a course that's going to be taught in the spring by Mr. Nick Romeo. And it's called Ancient Philosophy for Modern Life, as you see on the screen here. This is the website of the Erasmus Academy. And if you just click on this listing here on the top, where it says spring semester and then the title of the course, then you can get in, that'll lead you to the course description and enrollment form, and also then ways to pay online if you want to register for the course. So, and this is just a typical of what you would see. This is the course description itself, which is about 2.5 pages long. Gives a full description of the course that Nick is present with us today, and he's going to describe that himself, which is really a great opportunity to hear directly from the person who's going to teach the course. So let's see, I'm going to go into right now, go into the website here, and so Nick, very glad to have you with us with this program today, and can you hear me very well?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So what I'm going to do, this is Nick Romero, the instructor for the course, and I'm just going to leave and let you describe the course however you please. And I'm sure you're in for a treat, those who are listening and those who may be interested in applying to enroll in the course. So I'll just let you take it away.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ron.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to be teaching for Erasmus Academy this spring, and I'm especially excited to be teaching ancient philosophy. As Ron mentioned, the title is Ancient Philosophy for Modern Life, and this title is really more than just a marketing gimmick. It's a reflection of the fact that in antiquity, philosophy was conceived of as eminently practical by some of its most famous practitioners, people like Plato, but also the very theoretical Aristotle, nonetheless believed in the very pragmatic aspects of philosophy. And in fact, we're going to be focusing on the course on ethics and politics primarily. So we're going to be talking about themes like justice, friendship, fear of death, maintaining composure in the face of anxiety and uncertainty, ideal political arrangements that enable human flourishing or constrain it. And, all of these themes are richly dramatized and expressed in a number of works from antiquity, but our focus will be on a sort of roughly chronological sweep, beginning with Plato, moving on to Aristotle, and then going on to some of the sort of echoes or descendants that show up in Rome, people like, of course, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and perhaps a bit of Seneca as well, if time permits. So it's an expansive course. We'll be pursuing sort of important fundamental things of interest to all humans across space and time, and I am thrilled to be teaching this course. I have loved philosophy since I was an undergraduate. In fact, I am currently speaking to you from Athens, and when I was here doing my undergraduate study abroad many moons ago, I knew no Greek, but I had a wonderful philosophy professor who really made clear that the most sort of profound and accurate way to try to understand these texts was in the original language. So I spent several years just getting good enough at Greek to get into graduate school. Then I did a graduate degree in ancient Greek philosophy and closely read a lot of these texts in the original language, thought about them as much as I could. And I continue to do so. I work as a journalist and critic and essayist. Just this month, I have an essay coming out on the idea of Philosopher Kings, maybe the most famous thing from all of Plato, a formulation from the Republic, that there will not be political justice until philosophers become kings or kings philosophers. So it's on the origins of that idea, but also on the actual attempts that Plato made in his life to instantiate that ideal on what was at the time the Greek-speaking colony of Sicily. So Plato actually sailed to Sicily on 3 different occasions and attempted to make a very tyrannical ruler there more philosophical. It's not giving away too much if I say that his adventures were better characterized as misadventures. It did not end particularly well, but anyway, this is just an example of some of the stuff that I still am doing as a sort of popular writer on philosophy. I've also taught philosophy for Stanford. Sorry, just dropped something. Taught philosophy for Stanford's pre-college studies for many years, and I'm very excited to teach this course. So just to give you a little bit more of a kind of inside look at what the course will involve, every week we're meeting for 3 hours. This is quite a long time in person, let alone with the time dilation effect that I'm sure you're all familiar with that occurs on Zoom. So to keep things interesting, there will be a mixture of lecture in which I present some information, some imagery. I'm right here in Athens. I live in the city now, so I can go, fingers crossed, if lockdown is lifted, I can go and take photos of the Lyceum that Aristotle founded after he broke away from the academy. Of course, the original academy itself. I'll show you some imagery. I'll lecture a little bit on history and philosophy. And each week, there'll also be a kind of focal passage or two from the texts that we're reading. So, if we're talking about love, we'll read a bit from Plato's Symposium. I love doing etymology, so we'll talk about eros versus philia, the different linguistic shades that characterize these different ancient Greek words for kinds of affection. And we'll do that throughout the course every week. You'll come away with a stronger sense of sort of linguistic richness of ancient Greek. Then, a lot of the course hopefully will be in the Socratic spirit, not as it is often instantiated in classrooms, which is, the sort of teacher says, hey, what do y'all think about that? But hopefully a more sort of probing, guided series of questions where we try to actually philosophically and rigorously explore one concept, right? One of the most compelling things about ancient Greek philosophy in particular is the combination of real analytical rigor and scrutiny, paying attention to the logical validity of arguments, the empirical soundness of arguments, combined with fundamental real-world applications, right? So it's not Bertrand Russell and the Principia Mathematica. With all due respect to him, it's not the kind of aridity of a lot of 20th and 21st century analytical philosophy. It's what is the nature of justice in a political community? So stuff that we all live and breathe every day, for better and worse. So every week, to recap, we will have lecture, discussion, and then the last component I did not mention is your own writing. So students who take the course will be doing a lot of writing. I think this is a nice way to try to engage more deeply with the texts. We can talk, of course, about Plato's famous skepticism of the written word, at least as embodied in his favorite character, Socrates, in the dialogues, deeply skeptical of writing. It erodes the memory. Books can't argue back, etc. We'll get into that. But you guys will be doing writing, for better or worse, because I think it helps to think very carefully and formally about some of the claims and arguments. That being said, there will be a range of options for types of writing assignments. There'll be a range of options for topics. If you're especially captivated by one author, one passage, one idea, you're more than welcome to trace that. I'll be giving you very close feedback. As I mentioned, I've been a sort of professional writer full time now for close to a decade. So very comfortable in a range of styles, both analytical, academic, also a little bit more mainstream, sort of, general interest, cultural, intellectual criticism. So whatever your goals as a writer, I will be giving you close feedback, working with you to improve, and ultimately, to think more closely about some of these fundamental concepts. I threw my phone across the room just a few minutes ago inadvertently, so I think there was probably something else I wanted to mention. Let's see, Ron, are you able to edit this? I'm hoping.
Yes, sure.
Okay, I think Ron is muted. I'm just going to go for it, pick up the phone.
Yeah,
and
no, that's fine. I will be able to edit.
Good. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so, okay, one other thing that I would just like to mention before closing here is that, over the course of our time together, I am absolutely available for sort of close consultation, philosophical and also academic, if you are particularly interested in, say, the academic literature around one dialogue, or if you're just interested in the kind of intellectual history, what was the legacy, how was Plato transformed, under Christianity by the church fathers, what happens in the Middle Ages, what's the textual tradition, how do we even have Plato's dialogues. Um, in a semester, there's not going to be time to go into all of these things, but whatever, if there's something that's deeply captivating, I'm happy to meet with folks to talk about these things. As I think I'm probably mentioning for the third time now, I live in Athens. I literally live and breathe this stuff. So I'm always happy to discuss philosophy with people who care deeply about it. And so I plan to have a kind of very active presence, to be giving you feedback on writing, but also just to try to think through these things with you as well. In the sort of Socratic spirit of knowing what you don't know. These are deep, profound questions that have engaged many of the most brilliant minds in history. So it would be sort of wildly hubristic to think that I have somehow mastered the answers to any of these. So it will be a co-inquiry, in the original sense of the Greek verb historeo, to inquire, root of our word history. We'll be inquiring, doing philosophical history, intellectual history, but also, meaningful co-discovery of ideas. So again, I'm thrilled to be teaching the course and hope to see you all there. Thanks.
Great. Well, I'll pick up a little bit here and maybe come on back on. So yeah, that sounds very
Great.
very exciting, Nick, and especially those of you who are interested in enrolling in the course. I do want to mention that there are early bird registration options by December 20th and then by January 12th, which would result in a sizable discount for the course fee. And I think especially interesting and intriguing for the people who participate in this course is that they can get real feedback from their own skills of writing and thinking. And if they want to go in a certain direction, whatever field they're in, they would get their skills sharpened and critiqued by you, which would be a really would be a great gift for them, I believe. So anyway, feel free to enroll in the course, and we hope to see you there. Nick, thanks so much for uh, sharing your ideas about the course, and it sounds very inspiring. Any other further words you want to share with us before we sign off?
No, my pleasure. I think that's it on my end.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for sharing, and we hope to see you in the course. So we're signing off from here, from Brooklyn, and also from from Athens, near the Lyceum. Great. Thanks so much, Nick. Take care. Take care, everybody.
Okay.
Bye.